Once again, we're going to go over how we got the Bible. And just very briefly, we're going to clear up something because there was someone who made a video, and I can't remember his name, Jacob something. And he's a pretty smart dude, but I thought that he was a little bit smarter than this, but he got confused on a categorical distinction. And in so doing, he accused me of lying, so I need to clear that up real quick. See, in the video that he was responding to, I said that the Bible was completed by the year 100 AD. He said that that was a lie. It's not. The Bible was completed in the year 100 AD. See, at the time of 100 AD, that was the time that every single part of the Bible was completed. That means every single book of the Bible, all 66, were written. So we had the 39 books of the Old Testament. Those were completed by about 400 BC. And then the 27 letters that make up the New Testament, those were completely written by the year 100 AD. See, what he had very, very badly confused was the canonization process of the Bible. The canonization process of the Bible is not what I meant when I said that the Bible was completed in 100 AD. The completion of it was the completion of the writing of it, not the organization of those books. The canonization was something that took a very long time. It was not a one and done process. It was a very slow, strenuous process where people were trying to organize different things. But still, you'll find people who just can't understand the distinction and they get those things categorically confused, which is quite unfortunate. See, the primary reason that I bring this up is because so many people think that in Matthew 16:18, that was Jesus starting the Catholic Church, and that's just absolutely not the case. Very brief understanding on that is whenever Jesus says, "On this rock I will build my church," he's not talking about Peter. He says, "You are Petros, and on this Petra I will build my church." If you do a word search, Petra only ever applies to Jesus or literal rocks. Petros only ever applies to Peter or Cephas. See, that word Petros and Petra were very different usages, very specifically. You see that word Petra being used in a metaphorical fashion relating to Jesus consistently. Like whenever Jesus is explaining the man who builds his house on sand is a fool because it's going to fall, it doesn't have a solid foundation. But he who builds his faith on the Petra, that guy is building it properly on a good foundation because that foundation is Jesus. Jesus is the cornerstone, the Petra, on which his church, the Christian church, is built. Now, the original church was referred to as the Way. That was the name of it. It was called the Way. That was like the capitalization. That was the title of it. Those who followed the Way were the ones following Jesus, because in John 14:6, Jesus said that he is the way, the truth, and the life, and that no one can come to the Father except through him. And so that's where the early church got its name. And later it was called the Christian church by people trying to insult the members of the Way. They were trying to insult them by calling them little Christs. Then all of the Christians, all the people following the Way, they went, "Yep, that is exactly what we're trying to do. That's not insulting at all. I love that. We are Christians." But they were not Catholic. See, they were Catholicos. They were Catholic within the mindset of it being the universal. They were all universal in their beliefs. Same way that all Christians are today. Every Christian is universal in their beliefs that they are saved by grace alone, through faith alone, in Christ alone, for the glory of God alone. That is what Christians believe. If you believe different than that, if you believe a different gospel than that, then you are not a Christian according to the Bible. That is the gospel found within the Bible that is abundantly and rapidly repeated throughout the New Testament. You even see that going all the way back to Genesis, where Abraham was credited righteous by his faith. Was he credited as righteous before or after the sacrifice of Isaac? It was before that. It was before he did any of the works to show his faith. See, the works didn't build to or add with his faith. It was simply that the works are evidence of your faith. That is something that Christians do in fact believe, that works come after salvation. They come as a result of salvation. Catholicism and other false religions teach that works are necessary to obtain grace. That way you can be forgiven. The sacramental system of Catholicism, that you have to do certain works, that is how you earn grace, that is merited, which is just an oxymoron because the term grace quite literally means the unmerited mercy of God. It is something that we don't deserve. But now the Roman Catholic Church officially actually started to begin around the year 340 AD. See, there was this massive reign of this guy named Diocletian. He was a Roman emperor who was just slaughtering Christians. He was burning down churches, he was burning Bibles, and yes, he was burning Bibles. He was burning all of the manuscripts, which a lot of these were kept in churches, and then people would make copies and take them home. And this is a beautiful piece of history because all of these manuscripts and everything, they were not organized into the canon, which the canon was simply the organization tradition of the books of the Bible that were written by God using people as pens. But all of these manuscripts, all these different things that make up the canon, those things were hidden in different caves and stuff from the Romans to try to hide from them, and that's how we found the Dead Sea Scrolls, the Nag Hammadi scrolls, all those beautiful things in the Qumran caves, everything like that. We found all of that as a result of people hiding these manuscripts around the year 280 to 313. See, in 312, 313 is when Constantine legalized Christianity in Rome. And then from there, they started to mix in a little bit of paganism. So after the Council of Nicaea in 325 AD, there was a shift where Rome started to become a little bit more and more Christian, but a lot of the pagan religions around it, they weren't comfortable with it. So they started to merge in a lot of the pagan traditions and practice it with Christianity. And so around 340, when that actually started to gain a lot of validity to it, that is what created the uppercase C Catholic Church. It was the universal religion of Rome. However, it did not become the official state religion until Theodosius I made Christianity the official state religion of Rome in the year 380 AD. So if you want to debate on the philosophical aspects of whether or not the Catholic Church started in 340 or it started in 380, I don't care, but it was somewhere within that window that it really started to take hold. The estimates on that, to try to give it a more direct date, people tend to put it around 340 AD, even though there was not a specific like, aha, we found it today, because it was a very slow growth. It was like a cancer. It didn't have like this initial starting point that we can see. We just see that as it grew bigger and bigger and bigger, then we started to realize it was there. And actually, cancer is the best possible thing I can equate Roman Catholicism to, is because it was this slow growing thing that really didn't affect anything until it started to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And the heresies that just developed within it grew so large that the entire religion became just desperately apostate. It wasn't until after the Great Schism that the true apostasy happened. See, like as a result of the Reformation, as a result of the Protestant Reformation, which was trying to take it back to what the church actually believed in the first, second, and third century, going back to having the Bible as the sole infallible authority on earth, rather than it being fallible men throughout time who were wrong about a variety of different things, and many of which were absolutely heretical by every biblical definition possible. Not all of them, but many of them in a lot of different beliefs. Fortunately, a lot of their heresies were not technically essential issues, so that doesn't make them not Christian in any aspects like that. But you have like Arius, who believed that Jesus was a creation of God. That is a heresy that is on an essential issue, which means that that guy is 100% never was a Christian to begin with. That guy and his followers, they believe the same thing that Jehovah's Witnesses believe today. But either way, the actual completion of the Bible, that was done in 100 AD. The canonization of the Bible didn't happen fully until the end of the 4th century. But there's a lot of people who think that the Bible was still being written in the 2nd century, in the 3rd century, in the 4th century. And that is why I made that video, to explain that no, it was completely and totally written by the year 100 AD. But then I have people respond who are just demonstrating that they are incapable of categorically understanding distinctions between very simple words and terms going into the Bible. Which is a shame. I got disappointed whenever I saw that he was one of those people. But I hope this made sense. I hope this cleared some things up. Let me know what's next. Follow me on X. Go check out my store, taco-talks.com. Buy shirts, hats, stickers, all the fun stuff. In case of the TikTok ban, make sure you follow me on X. God bless.